All right, everyone, joining us here for our double header today, leading us off and playing first base. Riley Herbst, driver of the number 98 Monster Energy Ford Mustang in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Riley, appreciate you joining us in advance of Dover this weekend. If you've got a question for Riley, please raise your hand. We have him for about 15 minutes before Ryan Priest joins us. So, Riley, let's kick it off here with Nathan Solomon. He's got his hand raised. We'll get it started with Nathan. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dan. Riley, appreciate you taking a few minutes to speak with us here. Obviously, you started off the season, really strong, 6 top 10s. Last couple of races, obviously, a couple of DNS there. So what's the key for you to kind of get things back going in the right direction here at Dover this weekend?
Yeah, I don't really think there's one thing. I feel like at Richmond, we would have had a top 3 finish if we didn't get wrecked. In Martinsville, we should have finished 6th to 8th. So that should have been another top 10, but we got wrecked as well. So, and Talladega's Talladega. So I feel like our speed's there, and just get back to what we've been doing in the start of the year, and we'll be just fine.
And then having a teammate this year on the Xfinity side and Cole Custer, how beneficial has that been for you?
Yeah, I think very, very beneficial. I mean, as you kind of see, the program itself has been elevated because of Cole, and what he's brought to this program is a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge for me to ask questions and lean on. And I feel like it's kind of translated to on-track success, as you guys saw for the first 6 weeks as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Let's go to Marty Sakala. Hey, Marty.
Thanks, Dan. Riley, appreciate the time. Following up on Nathan's question, what do you feel like you've been improving on a lot in and out of the race car that's led to your best start of the season?
I think there's a lot of things. I don't think it's just one. I think it's consistency on and off the racetrack, working with my crew chief, Richard Boswell, understanding our goals, how to execute on our goals. My life outside of racing is very good. I'm extremely happy when I get to the racetrack while I'm at the racetrack. And I think that leads to a lot of success. And I'm confident every time I strap behind the wheel, and I enjoy what I do. So I think that also leads to good results, and looking forward to continuing the season.
And you're the highest in points without a win to begin the year, and you've been coming oh so close in a couple races. What do you think it'll take to get your first career Xfinity win?
Just keep knocking on the door, showing up to the racetrack each week. I feel like we have a shot to win, and I feel like we have good a shot, if not even better shot this weekend at Dover, a track where I enjoy, and I know we'll have good speed, so I'm looking forward to it. And if it's not Dover, then we'll head to Darlington and go try to win there.
Appreciate the time, Riley. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Thank you, Marty. Let's go to Bob. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Riley, I'm curious, now that we're kind of 9 races or so into the Xfinity season, how much difference have you seen with the change in the rear end housing rules? Like, has it changed how you guys race much, or how the cars handle much?
I don't think it really changes how we race much, Bob. I think that the balance or the handling of the car has changed quite a bit, honestly, from every single racetrack, from short tracks to intermediates. And honestly, I would even say road courses, but we haven't really ran up road course yet. But that's kind of my guess before we head to Sonoma here in a few weeks. But yeah, it definitely has changed the handling a little bit, and we're just kind of all getting used to it as well.
And the cup races that you've been doing this year, I mean, obviously you want to run your best, but how much of it is learning cup racing, and how much of it is, taking performance?
Yeah, the circumstances and things like that, it was more of just get my feet wet, complete all the laps. And we did complete all the laps in the 500 and this past weekend at Talladega, which we considered a success, and the people around me considered a success. So I was happy with the result at the 500, and I felt like we could have been a few spots higher at Talladega as well. But all in all, I think it was just a success, and hopefully we get some more opportunities.
And I want to ask one more. I don't know, did you look at many highlights of the Hemrick wreck? And what did you, because really looking back at it, he was really how much of it was he on top of you? And do you remember kind of how much of his undercarriage did you actually see?
Yeah, I don't have many comments on that wreck. I think it could easily have been avoided. And in my opinion, it should have been avoided. That was a late block with 6 to go that I think Sheldon was already to his door number. And then the only thing I saw was, I think he has fruit on the hood of his car or something. It was just like a big strawberry in my face. And then next thing I know, I was in the infield care center. Yeah.
Hey, Bob, thanks. Let's go to Kyle Dalton. Welcome to the call. Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks, Riley. Hey, so I just wanted to ask you, last night on Race Hub, Kevin Harvick was on there and was talking about kind of giving you advice. And so I just kind of wanted to hear, kind of the best advice you've received from him and what it means to you to have this guy who's, going to be a Hall of Famer in his last year, kind of giving you this last year of guidance before he exits the sport.
Yeah, it's really an honor just to be a part of KHI, and the things he's helped me on the racetrack is a lot, and the things he's helped me off the racetrack is just as much. So just understanding the way a race flows and helping me understand the ups and downs of a race through one event, and how you have to be there at the end to try to win one of these races, and you can't win the race in the first stage. But then as we progressed, he's told me other things about how important it is with stage points and when to be aggressive, when to hold back a little bit. So just his advice and his mentorship has meant the world to me. And I feel like it's helped me perform at a higher level for sure.
Okay. And then the other question, along with what Bob asked, as far as accidents, that Blaine Perkins accident, so when you go back and look at it, I know they talked about it on the broadcast, how Joey and Brad, when you see something like that, it makes you really reflect on what you're doing, and you guys are in a perilous sport. So when you saw what happened and you saw him tumbling down the track, what goes through your mind?
Quite frankly, is when can we get the race started again? I was wanting to get going, and I think you could ask anybody in the field, it was the same thing. I think we understand the inherent dangers of this sport, but we love it. And then I got in a big wreck, and next morning I strapped into a cup car and went for 500 miles. So I don't really think we think too much of a danger. That's just kind of not how we're wired when it comes to that. We want to keep it going and try to go win the race.
Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Let's go to Dustin Long. Go ahead, Dustin.
Thank you. Hey, Riley, I'm curious, did you get a look at Ryan Preece's accident, and in particular the in-car video of what he went through in that accident? And if so, I'm curious from a competitor, a driver's point of view, what do you see? What stands out to you when you look at what his body went through, as you look at what you can do with your seat or your belts or things like that? Obviously, I think for a lot of fans, excuse me, they probably forget how violent some of these incidences can be. And I think it was kind of a wake-up call in that sense. But I'm curious how you look at it, because you're in the midst of it. I'm sure you probably look at things a little bit differently, or even, I don't know if say study, but just kind of see how some of the safety things work, or how Ryan did things.
Yeah, there's a whole lot there, Dustin. The first off is I kind of wish we had those high-speed cameras in the Xfinity cars as well, because I'd be curious to compare what I look like to Ryan looked like, because the incidents were actually very, very similar. And which is odd to me is how different the two race cars looked. I can't really expand on that because I don't know much about the building of the race car, but my race car is gone. It's going to the shredder, and Ryan Preece's race car it's in the shop next door. I think actually went over to NASCAR. And yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting to look at the two comparisons of the wreck. The 5 car went up the track and got T-boned by the 41. And in my case, the 11 went up the track and I T-boned him. And so I'd be curious to see what mine looked like, but it looked brutal from Ryan's point of view. And it was kind of scary to watch it a little bit. To the previous questions, I don't really like watching Ryan's in-car that much.
Do you, and I'm curious, with what you saw when he went through, do you feel like your body kind of went through some of the similar things? And I understand it's different speeds, different, not different cars and things like that. So I know it's not necessarily apples to apples, but like you said, it's interesting that similar type of incidences 2 days in a row. And I'm just curious what you saw him go through. Did you feel like your body moved without being able to see the high speed cameras? Like you say, you don't have them in those cars.
Yeah, I think it was similar. I was talking to Ryan on the flight home, and I think we were complaining about the same things, a little bit of stiffness in the neck and things like that. He has a different tub than I have as well, and we obviously have different body styles and shapes. So that's kind of the only thing I could really take from it. I know that I adjusted my seat belts yesterday. People from HMS came to adjust some lowers and subs just to get more comfortable at a high frontal impact like that. Other than that, I feel like I'm good and ready to strap in the car at Dover.
And one last thing, that the changing the belts, was that a response to what happened last weekend, or was that something that you were already looking at doing and thinking about, and then just the way the schedule worked out to have it done at that point?
Response to this past weekend. It just was uncomfortable, and I feel like the new situation, God forbid it happens again, I feel like I'd be more comfortable.
Thank you for your perspective. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you, Dustin. I'll give anybody a chance. If you got any follow-ups or anything for Riley, give a couple seconds here if anybody's got anything. Otherwise, we will let Riley go. All right, Riley, you're good. Appreciate you taking some time here. Best of luck this weekend at Dover.
Thank you so much.